Hey, shalom, shalom, everyone. This is your brother Danyala, aka the Copper Color Aboriginal. And so let me turn there real quick. Today I am making a video addressing a brother named AliJeh. It's either AliJeh or AliJeh. I don't know how to pronounce it, but he has other words after that. But anyways, he made a video the other day basically trying to debunk that Israel and other old world civilizations were over here. He's trying to debunk that. And sorry about that. It's a loud V8. But anyways, so which way am I trying to go? I am totally disoriented. Okay, I think I know where I'm trying to go. So I don't think that's going the way I needed to go. Yeah, that's not the way I needed to go. Okay, so anyways, yeah. So someone's from South Carolina. Anyway, so so he made a video trying to debunk people, or trying to debunk that the old world kingdoms were over here, like the ancient Israelite Empire, the Babylonian Empire, ancient Egyptian Empire, the Assyrians. I don't think that he absolutely named all of them, but the main thing that he was focusing on was Israel, okay? And, man, the brother, he said in his video that he had facts, okay? And I want to tell you this one thing, and yes, I'm going to laugh and I'm going to poke fun, because he did that in his video. And that's basically what his entire video was. It was him making fun of us by doing these little memes and all this stuff, had the little, did the little edits with the people laughing and looking at people all weird. Yeah. He was basically clowning. And the brother had no facts at all. He had no facts. All he did, literally, was regurgitate and spew the same crap from the education system that teaches us that we're not Israelites, okay? Some of the stuff he said in his videos you can find verbatim on Wikipedia. I can't take anyone serious when that's all they use, okay? I have no problem with people using Wikipedia, but literally all the stuff that he said you can find on Wikipedia, a website where people can come and edit anything they want. Anyone and their grandmother can come and put their 2 cents on there, literally, okay? But see, the thing is he came at people like Cremio. He specifically named Cremio. And I think that's where he fucked up, though. He fucked up right there. Because he's coming against a brother who is seasoned in the research department, okay? See, Cremio, unlike this brother, because there were people in the comment section of this brother's video saying, oh, he came with the receipts. He had receipts. No, he didn't. Who did he cite? Where's his sources? Guys, where is his sources? He used slavevoyages.com, and they can't even get their numbers right. Dane Calloway did a video on slavevoyages.com. They can't even get their numbers right. Everything is just with Slave Voyages. Don't trust that. That website was co-founded by Henry Louis Gates, a brother who can't get his shit right. Okay? Well, a brother who has been known to lie to the community about various things, okay? Various things, okay? That's like the only place that he cited was slavewages.com, and they can't even get their damn numbers right. Dane, look, check out Dane's video about the slave trade. It's one of his newer ones that came out within the past 30 days. And he breaks down how they changed their numbers multiple times over, I think, the span of a year or so. So yeah, you can't trust that fucking website. My guy, you can't. But where are your sources? Where are your accredited sources? Who are you citing? Because of all that BS that he spewed and all that confusion that he spewed, he didn't cite not one person that was living in the 19th century, the 18th century, the 17th century. But let me tell you this. The brother Karimio, he cites and he shows his sources in every damn video, okay? So don't come at him like that. Do not come at that brother like that. Not only does he cite and show his sources, this brother, his sources are first-hand accounts, which means that these are coming from journals of people who lived in the 1600s. People who lived in the 1500s, late 1400s, 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, early 1900s. Okay? Yes, he does use some second and third hand sources, but a lot of stuff that he uses, especially when he talks about the description of the people who lived over here, how the people who lived over here were Negro, and like unto the Ethiopian, kinky hair, dark brown mahogany skin, dark brown tawny skin, dark copper colored skin, okay? Wide nose, full lips, kinky matted hair. All these physical descriptions that describes us, okay? These are coming from first-hand accounts, coming from the explorers and the conquerors who came over here to colonize us. These are coming from these people, from their journals, their diaries, okay? I would believe a person who was there in the flesh over a person who came 300, 400, 500 years later telling us how it was. You see what I'm saying? This brother is, he's if anything, if he tries to pull up research, he'll probably cite people from the 21st century talking about stuff back in the 15th, the 15th and the early 16th century. You see what I'm saying? No, I trust the first-hand accounts, buddy. The ones who mention how the people were God-fearing people, how they had Hebraic customs and cultures, and how they had clothing and practices that pertain to the biblical Hebrew Israelites, literally coming out of these conquerors and conquistadors' mouths, talking about how the Holy Lands are over here, how Jerusalem is over here. I mean, there's books talking about this stuff. I mean, seriously, coming from Christopher Columbus' lips himself, okay? But you want to listen to Henry Louis Gates, a guy who lived 500 years after the damn thing started. My guy, brother, please humble yourself and do some more research. I got homework for you, brother, and I'm saying this because I care. You know, sure, some of me is offended because I'm offended that the brother did not take his time to do his research on brothers and sisters who know that in fact Israel is over here, and know that in fact that we have always been here, who know in fact that Deuteronomy 28:68 happened in reverse. Okay? Talking about the lands that we would be taken to, lands that we did not know. Okay, I want you to do homework, and I want you to do this. I want you to do history, real historical research on the slave trades that happened here in the Americas, because those were the first slave trades that happened here in the Americas, was with the indigenous people. I want you to tell me, I want you to go and find out what these people were described to look like on first-hand accounts, okay? I want you to not only do that, but I want you to tell me, where were they shipping these people? Because they were literally shipping people from Venezuela to Virginia, from Virginia to Barbados, from Barbados to North Carolina, moving these indigenous brown negroid people to places that they were very unfamiliar with. So yeah, prophecy was fulfilled and it happened here. It's just that he just did, this brother AliJeh just didn't do his homework good enough. But I want you to do homework, brother. I want you to go and find and tell me where the earliest findings of Paleo-Hebrew was found at. And where were the earliest findings of Paleo-Hebrew in the world? And you will find out, my guy, my brother, you will find out that the oldest findings, the earliest findings of Paleo-Hebrew was right here in the Americas. Okay? And I want to say this, I want to address this real quick. He said something to the effect that the reason why we believe that Israel is over here is something about like us wanting to, because we love America or something like that. No, brother, that's not the case. That's not the case. And also he said something about the Book of Mormon. I'm gonna get to that in a second. But anyways, well, I'm just gonna address it right now. The Book of Mormon did not get me into it. The Book of Mormon came probably about 6 months after I recognized who I am. How I found out that I was an aboriginal of the Americas and that Israel is over here was simply through research. I had to let go of my pride, because that's the problem with a lot of brothers. We don't want to let go of our pride. You know, and pride is going to be the fault of a lot of us. Trust me, it is. Because we're too damn prideful. We act like we're a dog who can't learn new tricks. And that's going to be our downfall. Okay? But, you know, I knew probably for like about the past 10 years that we have been here before the whites. I just didn't know that Israel was over here. I heard theories, and at first I was bucking up against it. I didn't want to hear it. I'm like, no, I was trying to do everything to disprove it, just like this brother. Silly ass arguments, not proving a goddamn thing. Okay? I had showed my dad that we were over here before, you know, the whites, before 1492, that we were over here. I just thought that we sailed over here from Africa. No. That didn't happen like that. It happened in reverse. But anyways, that's what I believe. But my dad, he did a little bit more research and found out that the old world kingdoms were over here, like Israel, Babylon, the Persian Medes, Assyrians, the Egyptians. So many of these old kingdoms were over here. I'm not saying that the Greeks and the Romans were over here. Not at all. But my dad came to me with this evidence, and me, I was bucking up against that at first. I'm like, nah, that's not true. And then, I was like, you know what? I always give my dad the benefit of the doubt, and I always consider what he says. So I went and did my homework, and boy, did I have to humble myself. And when I found out the truth, I was blown away. I was like, damn. I came back to my dad. I was like, you know what? You were right. I was wrong. You were right. That's what brought me into it. Lowering my pride and actually doing research. And no, brother, the Book of Mormon did not bring me into it. The Book of Mormon came about 6 months later. That was just icing on the cake. You know what I'm saying? One of the many icings on the cake. But just doing historical research, that brought me into it. Nothing else. So, anyways, back to the homework, okay? And don't just spend one day doing this homework, brother. I want you to at least do like a whole month. I want you to at least, sorry, I had to get past the person back there, but I want you to at least do a week. I'm gonna say a week. I want you to at least do a week's worth of homework. Okay? I don't want you to, hold up, give me 1 second. I don't want you to do one day and be like, oh, okay, it's over. No, brother. I want you to do a whole week's worth of studying and tell me where the earliest, and I said this before, but the earliest findings of Paleo-Hebrew. What you're going to come to find is that the oldest Paleo-Hebrew was found right here in the Americas. Oh, this person's driving so damn slow. Right here in the Americas, okay? And it has nothing to do with my love of anything, okay? Other than the love of knowledge, okay? That's all. I mean, seriously, that's all. I'm trying to learn and increase my understanding and wisdom, okay? But, yeah, brother, go and find out where and don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it, but you will find out that the oldest Paleo-Hebrew artifacts were found over here. They were found over here in the Americas. I want you to look at the Back Creek stones. I want you to look up the Newark Holy stones. Look up the Newark Keystone, okay? I want you to look up the Los Lunas stones. I want you to look up the 800 Paleo-Hebrew stones that were found in Puerto Rico. I mean, there are, you can go on and on and on of all the Paleo-Hebrew over here. Not only that, but just the explorers and the colonizers who came over here and said that, hey, these people are Hebraic people. These people speak Hebrew. Not to mention, even to this day, there are tribes that speak various forms of Hebrew. Paleo-Hebrew. Okay? So I just want you to do homework on that, brother. Really do homework on that. Because you know what the funny thing is? Last night I had wrote a long ass comment, and guess what? The comment, I actually deleted it. I was so pissed, man. I was like, you know what? That's just the Most High telling me just to make a video. Just make a video, because a lot of people don't follow along anyways long enough to read through everything the way they should, and then their reading comprehension becomes a little messed up, and they misinterpret what you're saying. It's just much easier to do it through a video. But anyway, so you can't refute all the Paleo-Hebrew that's found over here, thousands, mind you, thousands of miles away from so-called Israel, away from so-called Northern Africa, as you call it, away from Africa as a whole, thousands of miles away from that landmass over there, okay? Thousands of miles away from that. And, the brother was just nitpicking through his whole video. Really, he was. He was nitpicking and mixing things together, like theories and concepts together and stuff like that. I'm gonna get on that later. I'm gonna address all the silly stuff later. But yeah, brother, do that homework, and you will find out that the earliest findings of Paleo-Hebrew was here in the Americas. There's literally thousands of artifacts here in the Americas that you can still see, or were taken by the Smithsonian. So yeah, it's funny because a lot of these artifacts were found in the early 1800s, right? Then after we start finding all these Paleo-Hebrews artifacts over here in the Americas, guess what? Then in the 20th century, not the 19th century, the 20th century, we start finding Paleo-Hebrew artifacts over there in Israel. Really? That's not suspicious to y'all? I mean, brother, think about it. Anyone out there, just skeptics. I'm not just only talking to the brother, but I'm just talking to all skeptics, and even brothers who want to use evidence to sharpen their swords. Do you really think that it's normal to find artifacts of a country far away from a country? That's like saying that you're going to find more Chinese artifacts over here in the Americas than over in China. No. You find more Chinese artifacts over in China. Why? Because that's where China actually is. So why in the hell would you find thousands of ancient Israelite artifacts over here in the Americas, but not over in the place called Israel. The place that is today called Israel. Why is that? That's because Israel's not over there. Tell me why, after the discovery of the Paleo-Hebrew artifacts over here, that magically Paleo-Hebrew artifacts start popping up over there in that bullshit land over there that we call Israel today. Yeah, for example, look at the Dead Sea Scrolls. Tell me when that was found. Yeah, exactly. It was found in the 20th century. Not in the 19th century, like the artifacts that were found over here in the Americas. Brother, you got to do homework, man. I'm telling you. Do your homework. Do your homework on all the things I was talking about, with the explorers and the colonizers, talking about how there are Negroes over here and how they have Hebrew cultures, Israelite cultures and customs and even clothing and stuff like that. How the people over here look Negro. Look up all the Paleo-Hebrew that's found over here, and that's just the beginning. Because you can literally find tons of artifacts of Babylonians. You can find tons of Egyptian artifacts over here. You can even find Greek and Roman artifacts over here. So tell me, why is this stuff dated to be thousands of years old? Now, I don't believe in carbon dating. I really don't. It's a lot of garbage. But tell me why these things that are thousands of years old, thousands of miles away from where they're supposed to be. Why is that, my brother? Why is that, Ak? Really? Dog, you gotta do your homework, man. Because really, all the stuff you said was like ABC bubblegum stuff. I kid you not, man. I was laughing through the video. I ain't gonna lie. I was laughing because it was just so hilarious, because the brother was like literally like presenting falsehoods. And it was just goofy. I mean, it's just overall goofy. But at the same time, I was shaking my head like, damn, like this brother. Sorry, I had to catch this light. I'm like, this brother really just don't know. The Most High hasn't opened his eyes yet. And, with all seriousness, with all jokes aside, I really do hope that the Most High wake up more of you brothers and sisters to the truth that Israel is over here. And it has nothing to do with a love of anything. I fucking hate this society. I do. I hate it with all my heart. That's why I'm praying for right now, that this society does not recover. Because I'm hearing you Hebrew Israelites out there saying, oh, I can't wait till this thing blows over. When you say that you can't wait for this thing to blow over, you're saying you can't wait to go back in bondage. You can't wait for your brothers and sisters to be slain out here on these streets. You can't wait for all this discrimination. You can't wait. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can actually wait for the kingdom? You don't want the kingdom to be here? That's what you're saying when you're talking about you hope that this place recovers or this thing blows over. Mind what you're saying, okay? But anyways, so yeah. It's just so much proof out there to show that Israel is over here. There's so much proof and evidence to show that a lot of old world kingdoms were over here. Israel was over here. Egypt was over here. The Babylonian Empire was over here. The Assyrians were over here. Lebanon was over here. Brother, I want you to tell me, where are the cedars of Lebanon right now? Over in Lebanon. Where? Yeah, I continue waiting on that answer. Because you're not going to find the cedars of Lebanon over there. But yeah, I showed this video to a couple of brothers, man, and they were just cracking up, laughing, man. And I just want to say this, like, I know that Israel is over here. I know that Israel is over in the Utah, California area. He was talking about how it doesn't make sense for you if Egypt is in Arizona. It doesn't make sense for you to go down to the Sea of Cortez and cross over to the peninsula into Baja California. I see what you're saying, but guess what, bruh? You didn't do enough homework to find out that Egypt, yeah, it was in the Arizona area, but it also stretched down into the Mexico and Central America area, brother. So if you did that research, you would know that if we're down in the Mexico area, like I believe it's called Jalisco, or what is it called? It's part of Mexico, but it's like it's on the western part of Mexico. Before, it's right between the Sea of Cortez. It's like right before you get to the Sea of Cortez. That area over there. If we were located over in that area, it would make sense to take a boat over, or it would make sense to cross over that way to get in Baja California. Okay? Especially if Israel is in the California area, I think it would make sense to go from Mexico, cross the Sea of Cortez, and then go over to Baja. Okay? But just like how you said it doesn't make sense to go from Arizona to Utah. Okay? It doesn't make sense even on the map today to cross a body of water to go from modern day Egypt to Israel, right? Because those are essentially the same landmass. It would actually be easier just to take the land way around rather than to cross the sea, because then you're going up and out of the way. It just doesn't make sense. It makes more sense on going from Mexico to Baja California than it does to modern day Egypt to Israel. It just makes more sense. So the same way you try to debunk us, I can debunk that bullshit of going from modern day Egypt to modern day Israel. You know? So brothers, stop it. But that's basically all I can say for right now, because I gotta go. I gotta get in the crib, handle some business. But brother, I just want you to think about that. Think about that. I want you to do your homework on the Paleo Hebrew and tell me why the earliest findings of Paleo Hebrew was here in the Americas, and then after the findings in the Americas, then Paleo Hebrew start popping up over there in the Middle East. Suspicious. Anyways, my guy, all my brothers and sisters out there, man, I could make this video. I could go on and on and on about the slave trade and how it's just an impossible feat to travel, at least because it at least takes 3 months to cross the sea from Africa over to the Americas, okay? And that's if you get on the right stream and you have the winds working for you, okay? But it could take up to... Why is there bubbles out here? I see bubbles flying. It could take up to 8 months to go from Africa to the Americas. It can't literally take that long, okay? I want y'all to think about this. I'm going to leave this with y'all before I go. If the mortality rate of sailors back in the 1700s were 10%, okay? They say 115 out of every 1,000 men would die on a voyage, right? That's 10%. So 1 out of every 10 people would die on their seafaring voyage, okay? What do you think the percentage of slaves... What do you think the mortality rate of the slaves are? I'm sure it's much higher than that. So if 1 out of 10 sailors died during that time, that would mean that at least 1 out of 10 slaves would die, right? So if you cram a ship with 200, 300 slaves, that means that by the time you get to the end of that voyage, you only have about 20 to 30 slaves, right? Is that even productive? Is that even fruitful? By the way, where are you keeping all that water? Because you're going to need about, I think it's 18,000 gallons of water. 18,000 gallons of fresh water to keep them slaves alive. That's minimum. That's actually minimum. Because one person needs a minimum of 1 quart a day to survive. 1 quart a day to survive, because if you get less than 1 quart a day, you will start to dehydrate and die within a few days. So you at least need 1 quart of water a day, which if you do 90 days minimum water, that equals about 18,000 gallons of water. Where are you keeping that? Where are you keeping the food? With all the slaves stacked on top of each other like sardines, shitting, pissing, vomiting, throwing up on each other. Oh, I already said that through vomiting. But bleeding on top of each other. Letting their bodily functions just happen on top of each other. They're not getting up. They're not stretching out. Because we know that you can literally die of heart failure and other organ failures just from not moving. Just from not getting enough physical activity. Okay? And then the mortality rate of slaves over here was 15%, I believe. And they only had the average lifespan of 20 years. About 20, no more than 25 years, right? So how are they reproducing? Mind you, majority of the slaves that were brought over here were male. So how in the hell did we increase our population when most of our slaves were dying at the age of 20? We had a high mortality rate even coming over here. Majority of the slaves brought over here were men. So how in the hell in less than 200 years, from 1519 to 1808, how in the hell did we go from 1619 to 1808? Less than 200 years. How did we produce? We went from 600,000 slaves to 3.6 million slaves in less than 200 years with a high mortality rate. Mind you, babies were dying left and right. They had a very high mortality rate also. And there were more men than women. How did that happen? Because in any healthy society, there was always more women than men. How did that happen? How did it grow? Because Chinese did the same thing. They murdered a lot of their babies, and their population was so big that they murdered a lot of their babies, right? They murdered a lot of their female babies to where now their population is kind of like on a standstill because they just have so many men who don't have enough babies. So wouldn't our population be the same thing? Mind you, they didn't go through the same shit we went through. But yet our population just exploded out of nowhere. The Most High works on, uncommon sense, I guess. Or things that don't make sense, I guess. I mean, the Most High is supposed to be the most orderly entity out here, but he just works on things that don't make any sense at all. I think not. I mean, just think about those things, guys. I mean, there's just so many. I could just spew out tons and tons and tons of truths, evidence, proofs that would just make you think. I mean, seriously. But brother, I really want you to do your homework, man. I got nothing but love for you. I mean, sure, I'm clowning and stuff, but I ain't got nothing but love for you, and other brothers and sisters out there who still don't have the understanding. But come on, man, don't come at people sideways. Because Cremio did mention the whole Peru thing, but that was just a like theory. He never came out and was like, this is 100% truth. No, he didn't. He didn't say that this is in fact Jerusalem and anything like that. No. You can't mix that with other concepts. Because majority of people who know that Israel is over here, we know it's in Utah. We don't believe it's down in Peru. So you gotta get your stuff straight, bruh. Because if you don't, and you're out here spewing this toxic BS, you're bearing false witness. Okay. So yeah. Anyways, just do your research, brother. Do your research and then do another video, and really just humble yourself down. Like pray, fast, humble yourself. Because that's a good way of getting information sent to you from the Most High. You know what I'm saying? And really just having that spirit of humility. Really just have that humble spirit, man. I know I was joking around and kidding, in this video. I'm not kidding, but just being silly in this video. But you gotta understand, man, brother, you have been greatly misinformed. And those people saying that you have receipts, what receipts? What receipts? I mean, y'all literally take somebody's word and call that receipts. No, I need sources. I need you to cite people, and not just only people. Sure, you can use third-hand accounts and second-hand accounts. I won't mind too much, but where are your first-hand accounts of people who lived during that time? My brother Cremio has tons of sources. Watch his videos. I don't think you really watch his videos. I'm not gonna do like how you did me and say, I bet you didn't watch it. I'm gonna say, I don't think you watched all his videos. I hope that you do if you haven't. But you should really watch all his videos because he has first-hand accounts from Spanish explorers, from the French, from even people who came over and colonized the Americas. first-hand accounts. Those are very, very valuable. And they're more reputable than Henry Louis Gates and other people who lived 500 years after it all began. You know. But anyways, people, that's all I have to say. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out, shalom, and Yahweh bless.